Right, guys, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon here at CEBIT. Hope you're all ready for this lovely presentation about the importance of incident response. So, as I said before, my name is Zeki Turedi. I'm from Resolution1 Security, where we specialize in continuous automated incident resolution via our Resolution1 cybersecurity platform. So to understand the importance of incident response, first of all, we must understand what have we been doing in our architectures and where our investments have mostly and predominantly been in. So over the last 10, 15 years, security architecture has been focusing on more of the preventative and detection technologies. These technologies, we've been told on countless amounts of occasions that these are the technology we need to be 100% secure within our organization. So I'm talking about your intrusion detection systems, your advanced persistent threat technologies, your antiviruses, your signature-based technologies, and your typical perimeter defense technologies. In reality, in the last few years, we've actually realized that these technologies are not the complete answer to our problems. In reality, we're still getting hit. The bad guys still come through our doors, and we still have incidences on a regular occurrence. We've all seen the news, we all know about it. So what are we missing out? What do we need to do to create this holistic view to make sure that simply we are secure as an organization? So this brings me to basically a blog article that was written by Bruce Schneier after the Sony attack happened. So this blog and article was about how do we create a perfect architecture, a perfect environment to make sure that we are secure when the worst case scenario happens. So in this article he wrote, you need prevention to defend against the low focus attacks and to make target attacks harder. You need detection to spot the attackers who inevitably get through. And you need response to minimize the damage, restore security, and manage the fallout. So we're nearly there. We've got the preventive detection technologies. We've invested in those technologies. But we need to complete it. We need to finish our architecture off and invest in response technologies, because inevitably they're there to minimize the damage, restore security, and manage the fallout. So how can responsive and resolution technologies help us in our architecture? Simply, improve incident detection. Some security analysts and security operations centers, one of the biggest difficulties they have is understanding what alert they get in their organization that is actually going to be the big one, the one that's going to cause them damage. We get tremendously a large amount of false positives. How do we work out when an alert comes in is a true positive? It's very, very hard. But with the correct response technologies within our organization, we can automatically identify when a true positive comes through our door or when it's just a false positive. That basically means we're not chasing our tails anymore. It means we can focus on the real attacks, the real instances that come into our organization. And simply, response technologies give improved incident response. Most organizations today don't have a good way of being able to do an incident response. In reality, most organizations don't really know what to do when the worst case scenario hits. And if you're in that situation, you're not going to have a good time. So simply by integrating response technologies, we can go out of there, we can see what's going on, we can get our visibility, we can understand the breach, what caused the breach, who caused the breach, and how, most importantly, to fix the problem. And overall, by doing this, we mitigate the risk. If we can simply say, when someone bad comes knocking on our door, we know it's definitely someone bad, not a false trigger, and we can identify it and remediate it as soon as possible, we mitigate that overall risk that happens to our organization. And most importantly, evolve and improve. We learn from our mistakes, we improve our organization, we glue those gaps in our organization, and evolve continuously by making sure we've got the correct information. So what are the current problems with response technologies and response processes? Simply, most organizations today, you'll need to get forensic information. Forensic information needs to be gathered by people who understand forensic technologies. These people are expensive. Most organizations don't have the correct people in-house, so you have to get third-party consultants in. It could be weeks on end until you get that consultant into your organization to be able to do the correct investigations. And as we all know about forensics, we need the information when we see the alert. We need fresh information, because fresh forensic information gives us the most information regarding that breach. Or what happens if you have to go and fly out? You're a multi-global organization, and the threats has happened to in another country. That means you've got to ship out people, fly them out to possibly different countries, different danger zones, have to sort out visas. It becomes very problematic. And I mean, most importantly, it becomes very costly. On average, a data breach which has actual data taken out will cost a company roughly $5.4 million. You know, there's a lot of other things that happen when you get breached. For example, downtime. Critical infrastructure has to be taken offline. Endpoints need to be taken down and refixed. Again, look at Sony. They were working with pen and paper for weeks on end because they had to shut down the whole critical infrastructure, all their endpoints, while they performed their own investigation. Now, if you look at your own organization today, how much money would it lose if it had to go and do the exact same thing? So that can be simply rectified by having the right technology in there. And with Resolution 1 security, we do this in multiple ways. So firstly, we integrate with your current investments. So we utilize your current security techniques, your current security investments, so your SIM technologies, your antiviruses, your firewalls, and we listen to them. When they see something bad, we automatically react to that alert and perform automatic instant resolution and instant response workflows. On top of that, we give your organization, your security analysts, the technologies they need to be able to go and do response, validate alerts, have full visibility, and be able to understand what's happening to their organization when the worst case scenario happens. And in reality, when we have to do investigations today, they're very, very slow, painful tasks. We have to utilize many open source scripts, many different platforms, very technical platforms, which basically means it takes us a long time for us to get to that end answer or end goal to remediate. By simply automating those repetitive tasks, that means we get to that end answer as soon as possible and quickly. So how do we do this? We do it simply in 3 different verticals. First vertical is visibility. Visibility is very important with an organization. And we do this simply by listening onto your endpoints in your network and correlating against our threat intelligence platform. So continuously, we're monitoring your network. We're monitoring all the network traffic. We're monitoring all the activity on the endpoints. And if we see something bad, we will automatically alert you, and we can start that automatic instant response workflows. On top of that, we give context. So second that an alert comes in from any of the solutions in your organization, we can give that security analyst context information to give them an understanding of exactly what's happening within the organization and that endpoint. So give them the information they need. On top of that, we do a number of triaging techniques and a number of analysis techniques as well. So we do all the hard work that security analysts would normally have to do manually, automatically through the solution. On top of that, we utilize automation. By harnessing automation, we simply get to that end game, the end result, as quickly as possible. We do all the hard, heavy lifting for the security analyst, so we can get to that remediation point as quickly and decisively as possible. So we're coming to the end of the presentation now. I hope you enjoyed it, but most importantly, if this is something that's of interest to yourselves and you'd like to learn more, please come and visit us at Hall 6, Stand B25, if you'd like to get some more information.